The screen is dark, save for the glow of a flickering desk lamp. Papers are scattered across the desk, equations and sketches smudged with hurried corrections. The confessor, a distinguished scientist, sits in front of a camera. Their awards, Nobel medals, honorary degrees, and plaques, line the background, a shrine to a legacy built on deception. "I've lived a lie," they begin, voice trembling. "Years ago, I made a choice, a selfish, cowardly choice that changed everything." The confession winds back to a small, cramped university lab where they worked alongside their colleague, a genius with unyielding dedication. The breakthrough discovery, a renewable energy source that revolutionized the world, had been the colleague's brainchild, developed over sleepless nights and relentless effort. But one fateful evening, temptation struck. I saw the equations on the board. I knew it was the missing piece, the answer we'd been chasing. And in that moment, I justified it to myself. I told myself I'd been there too, that I deserved a share of the glory. But the truth? I stole it. As the confessor recounts the events, their tone shifts, heavy with regret. They describe the colleagues' struggles, the missed opportunities, the skepticism they endured when trying to prove their contribution to the world-changing innovation. Now, years later, the colleague has proof, notes, sketches, and witnesses who know the real story. The confessor knows the revelation will come soon. "I've been honored by kings and presidents. I've been called a savior. But every time someone thanks me, I hear their name, see their face. And I know none of this belongs to me." The video concludes with the scientist looking directly into the camera. "To you, my friend, I owe everything. And I have no excuse. I am ready to face the consequences, to set the record straight. But even that won't erase what I've taken from you. I'm sorry. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make it right." The screen fades to black as the sound of applause plays in the background, a cruel juxtaposition to the guilt that has plagued the confessor for years. The world will soon learn the truth, but the scars of betrayal run deep, threatening to overshadow even the redemption they seek. The confession video, though heartfelt, was only the beginning. Once uploaded, it became an instant sensation. Headlines screamed of scandal, Nobel Laureate exposed, a legacy built on lies. The world, captivated by the tale, hungered for the full truth. But for the confessor, the days following were a waking nightmare. Emails flooded their inbox, some offering support, others brimming with rage. The scientific community was torn. Loyal colleagues defended them, claiming the confession showed bravery. Critics demanded that all awards and accolades be stripped. Then came the awaited response from the colleague, Dr. Eliza Carter. A press conference was called, the room packed with reporters, cameras, and flashing bulbs. Eliza stepped up to the podium, her demeanor calm but resolute. "First, let me say this. My discovery was never about fame or recognition. It was about changing the world for the better. But what hurts most isn't the theft of my work, it's the betrayal of trust. We were partners, friends, and they chose ambition over loyalty." The words hit like a hammer. The confessor, watching the broadcast from their dimly lit study, felt the weight of each syllable. Eliza continued, unveiling her evidence, a meticulously kept journal, time-stamped drafts of the equations, and corroborations from former lab assistants who remembered her sleepless nights. The confessor knew there was no defense. In an act of desperation, or perhaps clarity, they called a live interview, determined to face the world directly. The broadcast aired globally. Sitting across from a stern interviewer, the confessor answered every question, sparing no detail. "What made you take credit for Dr. Carter's work?" "I was afraid. Afraid I'd never be seen as good enough. Afraid my own contributions wouldn't matter. But none of that justifies what I did. Do you think you deserve forgiveness?" The confessor paused, the silence stretching. "No. But I hope to earn it. For now, I'm returning every award, every cent I made from that discovery. It belongs to Dr. Carter. She's the real pioneer." Eliza's reaction to the interview shocked everyone. Rather than further condemn her former colleague, she made a surprising announcement. "I accept their apology, but this doesn't erase what happened. Moving forward, I propose a solution, not revenge, but progress. We'll co-found a foundation dedicated to fostering ethical practices in science, ensuring no one else has to face what I did. The idea was met with mixed reactions. Some called it magnanimous, others saw it as an unnecessary concession. Months turned into years. The foundation thrived, and so did Eliza's reputation as a brilliant scientist and advocate for integrity. The confessor, though still ostracized by many, worked tirelessly behind the scenes, pouring their energy into making amends. Their partnership remained professional, their friendship forever fractured. Yet in moments of quiet reflection, the confessor found solace in the thought that perhaps, through their failure, they had helped inspire a better future. One day, a handwritten note arrived at the confessor's door. I still don't trust you, but I can see you're trying. That matters. Eliza. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was a start. The foundation grew into an internationally recognized organization, becoming a beacon for young scientists. Its mission was clear: to educate, mentor, and ensure no one ever felt pressured to sacrifice their integrity for success. Workshops, ethics courses, and rigorous mentorship programs were implemented worldwide, and both the confessor and Eliza found themselves at the forefront of a movement that reshaped the scientific community. Yet, despite the growing success, tension lingered between them. The public admired their professional unity, but those closest to them knew the rift ran deep. They rarely spoke outside of work, and their interactions were brief and formal. One evening, at a gala celebrating the Foundation's achievements, Eliza gave a speech that caught everyone off guard. "Tonight, we celebrate progress," she began, her voice steady. "But progress often comes from pain, from mistakes. The truth is, my career wouldn't be where it is today without hardship. And though it doesn't erase what happened, I've come to realize that even betrayal can lead to transformation." The audience applauded, but the confessor, standing at the edge of the room, felt a pang of guilt and hope intertwine. After the event, they approached Eliza, unsure if they were about to be dismissed or heard. "That was generous," they started, hesitant. "But I know I still have a long way to go to earn your trust." Eliza regarded them for a long moment before replying. "You're right. Trust isn't something you earn once and keep forever. It's something you rebuild every day. And rebuilding takes time. But I see the effort. That matters." Behind the scenes, the confessor began working on their own project, a detailed memoir. It wasn't a defense of their actions, but an unflinching account of their choices, their guilt, and the lessons learned. When it was finally published, the title drew attention: Stolen Light, A Scientist's Journey Through Guilt and Redemption. The memoir received mixed reviews. Critics lauded its honesty, but questioned its intent. Was it a genuine act of contrition, or a bid for sympathy? Eliza, when asked, refused to comment publicly, but privately, she read the book cover to cover. In one of the final chapters, the confessor wrote, "I don't expect forgiveness, not from Eliza, not from the world. What I hope for is understanding, not of my actions. They were inexcusable, but of the power of second chances. Because in my darkest moments, it was the possibility of redemption that kept me moving forward." 1 week after its release, Eliza sent a short email. "Finished the book. It's honest. Painfully so. I appreciate that. Let's talk soon." It was the first olive branch extended in years. When they finally met, it was over coffee in a quiet corner of a library they once frequented as colleagues. "You could have sensationalized it," Eliza said, holding the book. "Made yourself a victim. But you didn't. That means something." "I meant every word," the confessor replied. "I'll spend the rest of my life proving it." For the first time, their conversation veered into personal territory, reminiscing about old projects, shared triumphs, and the idealism that once fueled their partnership. The years that followed weren't without challenges, but the confessor and Eliza forged a new kind of relationship, not the friendship they once had, but a partnership built on mutual respect. Their work transformed not only the field of science but also their own lives, proving that while trust takes years to rebuild, the act of trying is what matters most. Years passed, and the foundation continued to flourish, its influence stretching across continents. The confessor and Eliza remained at its helm, their names synonymous with innovation, ethics, and the power of redemption. Their relationship, while never returning to its original warmth, evolved into something deeper, a shared understanding that progress often arises from the ruins of failure. One quiet evening, the confessor sat in their office, reviewing the latest applications for the Foundation's scholarship program. Among them was a submission that caught their attention, a young scientist, full of ambition and promise, whose research mirrored the work they had stolen all those years ago. Eliza entered the room, her presence calm and steady. She glanced at the application in the confessor's hands and raised an eyebrow. "Looks familiar, doesn't it?" "It does," they admitted, setting the file down. "It's a reminder." "A reminder of what?" she asked, her tone curious but not accusatory. "That mistakes don't define us. What defines us is what we do afterward," the confessor replied. Eliza nodded, her expression softening. "You've come a long way." "We both have." For a moment, silence hung between them, heavy with unspoken words. Then Eliza smiled, a rare, genuine smile. "Maybe it's time we let the past rest. We've done everything we can to make things right." The confessor felt the weight of her words and the subtle absolution they carried. "Thank you," they said quietly, knowing that forgiveness was never owed, but always a gift. As they left the office together, the confessor paused to glance at the Foundation's mission statement etched into the wall: integrity, innovation, redemption. For the first time in years, they felt at peace. The road to this moment had been long and fraught with regret, but it had led to something meaningful, not just for them, but for countless others. The past couldn't be undone, but the future was theirs to shape. And so, with the scars of their choices woven into the fabric of who they were, they moved forward, not as a hero or a villain, but as a testament to the possibility of change.